Hello everyone, this is Todd the Beer Guy from Satire Brewing Company talking today about the bad girlfriend. It's an old homebrew recipe. It was a homebrew recipe I made in my trial and error phase, and some of them were good, some of them were terrible, but this one was one of the ones that actually shined and actually turned out pretty good, and I loved it as a homebrewer. It went over good at some of the barbecues and parties I went to. So when we opened this place up, I decided to try that recipe and just do it on a little bigger scale. And we did that, and it came out, and it didn't quite come out the way I wanted it to. I thought it tasted a little more like green fruit, a little more tartness to it. It almost had just this element of funk that I just didn't like personally. I surveyed my assistant brewer, and she said, "Todd, you can't serve that. You've definitely got to dump that batch. We'll take it to one of our servers, Amy," and had Amy try it. And Amy goes, "Well, you know what? I think someone will like that beer. You ought to just throw it out on tap, give it a shot, and see." It shocked us, but that turned into our #1 selling beer for 2 months in a row. And I had to take my personal opinion out of it because I was pissed at it. And I think any brewer will know, sometimes you make a beer and you want it to go this way, but just due to science or something you did, it'll take it that way. And because it went that way, I couldn't forgive the beer. I couldn't get my own personal jaded thoughts out of the way. And so I almost didn't serve the thing, but it's turned into a fan favorite, and if it's not on tap now, people complain that we don't have the bad girlfriend available. So why the name Bad Girlfriend? Well, of course I couldn't relate. I've never had a bad girlfriend. I have probably mostly been the bad boyfriend, and there's probably some stories behind that. But I think most people can relate to a bad girlfriend. And this beer was one that, we almost dumped. It's almost like a stereotypical bad girlfriend where you should probably get rid of her, but you probably shouldn't. But you kind of like her, but you kind of don't, and she's kind of psycho. And so it just had all those elements to it in a beer. And you drink this beer, it's got a little funk, a little tart to it, and it's almost like that experience, like going, should I stay in this relationship? Should I not? And this beer also has a high alcohol element to it. It's typically 10 to 12%. So as any bad girlfriend, if you drink too many of them, it's going to hit you hard the next day. And you don't want to wake up with a bad girlfriend feeling. That's not the best place to be. It's a Apricot Belgian, so we wanted to make it high in alcohol content with a lot of traditional Belgians. And I used just a very basic Belgian yeast where it's got a lot of fruit notes. And this one we want to ferment as high a temperature as possible without getting too extreme, to try to bring out some more flavors, a little bit of the phenol flavors, a little bit more of the fruitiness, and it just combines really well with the apricot. We made sure we didn't hop it much because we want the apricot and the Belgian yeast to be the star of the show. It's got to age properly. I usually don't release that the day it's done fermenting and chilling and carbonating. I usually like to let that sit in the cooler for 2 to 3 months, just kind of smooth out, mellow out a little bit, and just really bring out the best flavor it can out of that beer. We have a little bit left in stock. We will remake it in time, but only a little bit left, so you might want to come and get it. And just remember, it is a bad girlfriend. At 10%, you come in, you drink 2, maybe 3 of those max. The next day you're going to be feeling a little bit, and if you ever had that experience before, you wake up the next day and kind of regret what you did, you might have that feeling with a bad girlfriend. It is one of the best, most perfect beer names we could have for the character of the beer.